Football can be the beautiful game, but a mistimed tackle, a clash of heads or a bad fall can turn the beautiful game into a sickening career-ending nightmare. With that said, here's the top 10 most career-ending injuries. These will probably never leave your mind or the fans or players who witnessed them. #sorry. In 2008, back when Arsenal fans still thought Wenger could bring them titles, Eduardo suffered a terrible leg break following a tackle from Birmingham's Martin Taylor. Eduardo broke his fibula and dislocated his ankle. Wenger was so angry at the tackle that he called for Taylor to be banned. Good news was Eduardo returned to play football a year later, but much like Arsenal, he was never as good as he once was. Demba Ba, former Chelsea, Newcastle and West Ham striker, suffered a horrific leg break whilst playing in the Chinese Super League. This injury was so bad at the time people thought it would end his career. It was from a fairly innocuous tackle. Ba got his stud stuck in the ground, so his body twisted whilst his leg twisted the other way. Ouch. Thankfully, Ba has now been able to return to playing football and has returned to Europe as he hopes to go to the World Cup with Senegal. Some people may have forgotten why Petr Cech wears protective headwear. Well, so would you if you nearly lost your life after a controversial challenge from Reading's Stephen Hunt. In 2006, Cech was left severely concussed after being kneed in the head by the Irish midfielder. Cech collapsed in the dressing room after being carried off the field. He was then rushed to hospital where he underwent emergency surgery to depress his fractured skull. Cech was told he would be out of football for a year, but he was back playing for Chelsea just 3 months later, wearing his now iconic headwear. An incident that happened fairly recently, so we don't know whether or how James McCarthy will return after summer, as I said that James had broken his fibula, tibia and had a compound fracture. The injuries occurred when Everton's McCarthy and West Brom's forward Rondo clashed legs. Rondo went to strike the ball just as McCarthy was trying to intercept it. McCarthy was left in agony and Rondo was left visibly traumatised. McCarthy is not expected until the end of the season to return. Hopefully McCarthy will make a full recovery. Manchester derbies are usually pretty heated, but that heat is even more intense when it includes Roy Keane out to get revenge on a Manchester City player. In 2001, the target of Keane's rage was Alfie Inge Haaland. The Norwegian received a knee-high horror tackle which earned Keane a red card and a £150,000 fine. Keane later revealed in his autobiography that the tackle was premeditated as he'd previously injured himself trying to tackle the Norwegian 4 years earlier. Norwegian tried to get back into the game after numerous attempts and setbacks. He later retired in 2003. Arsenal have been jinxed by horrific injuries. The worst was when Aaron Ramsey's career was dramatically put on hold after a tackle from Ryan Shawcross in 2010. Aaron Ramsey flicked the ball away from Stoke City's Ryan Shawcross at the Britannia Stadium. A fraction of a second later, Shawcross crashed into the midfielder's right shin and shattered his tibia and fibula. It took Ramsey 9 months to recover, and Arsene Wenger has revealed that it took Aaron Ramsey 3 years to get over the mental scars of the horrific broken leg he received at Stoke City. Ramsey says he never received a proper apology from Shawcross, only a text. Injuries have become somewhat of a trademark for French forward Cisse. However, his first serious leg break happened in 2004 whilst playing for Liverpool. Yet, it was not the result of a horror tackle. Cisse managed to break his tibia and his fibula in his left leg due to an awkward fall after the striker stuck his blades in the turf. 2 years later, Cisse shattered his right leg during a pre-World Cup game with China. Both times he was out of action for 7 months but came back to playing football. In the year 2000, Aston Villa fans had high hopes for the experienced Belgian striker Nilis when he joined them from PSV Eindhoven on a free transfer. Nilis had scored goals for fun at his previous clubs Anderlecht and PSV, having scored 237 goals in 38 appearances for both clubs combined. However, that hope was sadly short-lived. Nilis played just 3 times in the Premier League for Villa. He scored an amazing goal against Chelsea, but his last appearance lasted just 4 minutes before he sustained a double fracture of his right leg following a collision with Ipswich goalkeeper Richard Wright. At 33 years old, this injury led Nilis to retire. A sad end for the player Brazilian Ronaldo once said was his favourite strike partner. That's big praise considering the Brazilian legend once played with Figo, Romario, Zidane, Rivaldo, Djokovic and Raul. Ryan Mason is one of the most recent entries to our list. Sadly, his career was ended due to a head injury. Mason sustained a fractured skull in a clash of heads with Chelsea's Gary Cahill whilst defending the corner during his team's defeat and Mason subsequently received treatment for around 9 minutes on the Stamford Bridge pitch. He later had surgery at St Mary's Hospital in London and was released 8 days later, but he has since struggled with recovery, admitting he had no option but to retire after receiving expert advice. Mason received well wishes from the football world, and Spurs manager Pochettino said Mason could return to football but in a coaching capacity one day. At number 1, the injury that is probably the worst that Alex Ferguson and most football fans have ever seen. In 1996, Peter Schmeichel needed counselling after seeing David Busst's double compound fracture. At the time, the injury was considered so horrific that Sky and the BBC chose not to broadcast the incident. Since then, Bust's injury is described as the worst football injury ever, mainly because the injury was so bad that his bone could be seen ripping out of his skin, and the match had to be delayed 15 minutes so that they could clean the blood from the pitch. Sadly, Busst never played football again. However, the injury was so bad he came close to losing both of his legs, so at least he can now walk. With that said, I'm Anton Allen, thanks for watching this video. For more light-hearted videos, make sure you subscribe and check out our channel. Thanks for watching, peace.